In 323 BC, the ancient world was on a knife's edge. Alexander the Great, the man who had conquered everything from Greece to India, was dying in Babylon. He was just 32 years old. His final words, supposedly to the strongest, were the spark that lit a 40-year firestorm of war, shattering his empire. But what if those weren't his last words? What if the greatest empire the world had ever seen was just getting warmed up? What if the fever broke? Stick around, because we're about to show you how 2 more decades of Alexander's life would have not only cemented his legendary empire, but launched a new wave of invasions that would have wiped the Roman Empire off the map before it even had a chance to become one. It's June of 323 BC in Nebuchadnezzar II's palace in Babylon. For 10 brutal days, a fever has gripped the king. His body, a roadmap of scars from a dozen major battles, including a pierced lung and a shattered ankle, is finally giving out. His generals, the men who followed him to the edge of the known world, are gathered outside, their minds already spinning with plots and ambition. They ask him who will inherit his kingdom, and through the haze of sickness, he whispers the reply that would tear his life's work to shreds, kicking off the chaotic and bloody wars of the successors. But in our timeline, history holds its breath, and then a sigh of relief. The fever breaks. The crisis is over. Alexander, though weakened, is alive. As the news spreads from Babylon, it's a miracle for some, and a death sentence for others. All those secret plots and simmering conspiracies instantly snuffed out. Ambitious generals like Perdiccas, Ptolemy, and Antigonus have to shelve their plans to carve up the world. The Game of Thrones is over, for now. But for Alexander, the great game is about to enter its most audacious chapter yet. This brush with death is a wake-up call. His empire, stretching 3,000 miles from the Danube to the Indus, is held together by his reputation and the sheer force of his will. It's a stunning achievement, but it's fragile. And his heir, the future Alexander IV, is just an infant, born to his wife Roxana right after his recovery. He knows he needs more than just conquered land to build a real legacy. He needs time. Time to consolidate, to unify, to secure his dynasty. But for a man like Alexander, consolidation doesn't mean peace. It means more war. Having stared death in the face, Alexander spends the next few years moving with terrifying efficiency to secure his rule. He'd seen the hunger in his generals' eyes. He purges his command structure, not with a bloodbath, but with clever reassignments. The most ambitious commanders find themselves governing distant, difficult provinces, a promotion that's really an exile. Loyal veterans get land and titles, while a new generation of officers, loyal only to him and his son, are promoted. At the same time, he tackles the growing tension between his Macedonian soldiers and his new Persian subjects. The Macedonians hated his adoption of Persian customs, like the bowing and scraping of proskynesis, and his policy of encouraging intermarriage. Alexander doesn't back down. Instead, he doubles down. He sets up new military academies across the empire, where the sons of Macedonian and Persian nobles train side by side, creating a new unified military elite. He throws more lavish celebrations like the Susa weddings, offering huge dowries and tax breaks for the children of these Greco-Persian unions. He's not just mixing cultures, he's building a brand new ruling class, one loyal to the Alexandrian Empire, not to Macedon or Persia. With his power absolute and his succession secure, Alexander looks for his next project. While he was sick, his staff had been drawing up plans for an invasion he'd ordered just before falling ill: the conquest of the Arabian Peninsula. The official reason was that the Arabian tribes had disrespected him by not sending envoys. The real reason: strategy and wealth. Arabia controlled the incredibly lucrative incense and spice trade routes, a source of income that could bankroll his empire forever. In 319 BC, The invasion begins. A fleet of 1,000 warships, built in Babylon, sails down the Persian Gulf. This is a combined arms operation on a scale never seen before. The fleet, led by the trusted Admiral Nerchus, sets up fortified ports along the coast to secure supplies. Meanwhile, Alexander leads his army, a mix of veteran phalanx fighters, Persian archers, and his new secret weapon, Indian war elephants, into the desert. The campaign is a nightmare. The heat is suffocating, and the desert is a logistical hell. The Arab tribes are smart. They refuse to meet him in a pitched battle, choosing instead to harass him with guerrilla raids. This is a new kind of war for Alexander, but he adapts. He uses his fleet to leapfrog his army down the coast, striking at the heart of the tribal economies, their coastal towns and oases. Slowly but surely, the tribes are broken, and Alexander doesn't just conquer, he builds along the coast. He establishes a chain of new cities, all named Alexandria, complete with Greek theaters and gyms. These become the new centers of Hellenic power in Arabia. By 315 BC, the peninsula is his. The spice trade now fills his treasury, and his empire stretches to the Persian Gulf, the Red Sea, and the Indian Ocean. With the east and south under his control, a 39-year-old Alexander, now at the absolute height of his genius, looks west. His ambition, as one historian put it, was a kind of disease. He had always dreamed of controlling the Western Mediterranean. Now fueled by the wealth of Persia and Arabia, he can finally do it. His target is the great naval power of the era, the city that ruled the Western seas, Carthage. Founded by his old enemies, the Phoenicians, Carthage was a massive commercial empire. Its navy was the most powerful in the Mediterranean, and its army was a tough mix of citizen soldiers and mercenaries. For Alexander, Carthage was the last piece of the puzzle for total Mediterranean dominance. The invasion, launched in 314 BC, is his most daring yet. Alexander's grand army, bigger than ever, marches overland from Egypt. At the same time, his colossal fleet, having sailed from the Persian Gulf and up the Red Sea, enters the Mediterranean. For this, he ordered the reopening of the ancient Canal of the Pharaohs, a waterway connecting the Nile to the Red Sea that had been first dug centuries earlier but had fallen into disrepair. The Carthaginian navy, powerful as it is now trapped. Alexander's fleet is to their east, and to the north, the Greek cities in Sicily and Italy, longtime rivals of Carthage, eagerly join him. The war in North Africa is a 4-year slog. The Carthaginians fight fiercely for their home, but they've never faced a commander like Alexander. He outfoxes their generals and besieges their cities one by one. The final showdown is the siege of Carthage itself. The city is a fortress, protected by 3 massive walls. The siege is a brutal, bloody marathon, lasting months. Alexander throws every piece of siege tech he has at it, from giant towers to advanced catapults. Finally, in 310 BC, his engineers breach the walls. Carthage, the queen of the Mediterranean, is sacked, but unlike other cities he destroyed, he preserves Carthage, renaming it Alexandria Carthago, and turning it into his new western capital. With Carthage gone, only one real power is left in the central Mediterranean, a tough, scrappy city-state on the Italian peninsula that had been slowly conquering its neighbors. That city was Rome. In 309 BC, the Roman Republic was not the global superpower we think of. It was a regional power, hardened by constant wars with tribes like the Samnites. Its legions were disciplined, but they were a century away from the professional force that would one day conquer the world. They were confident, aggressive, and had no idea what was about to hit them. The collision was inevitable. After taking Sicily, Alexander saw Rome's dominance in Italy as a challenge. The Romans saw him as just another king to be defeated. In 308 BC, Alexander crossed into Italy, The one and only Macedonian-Roman War is short and brutal. The Roman consuls march their citizen soldiers south, confident in their flexible legion formations. On a wide plain, the two greatest military machines of the ancient world finally meet. The Romans are horrified. They see a forest of 21-foot pikes, the sarissas of the Macedonian phalanx, a giant metal porcupine they can't get close to. On the wings, they see the unstoppable companion cavalry, and then they see the elephants, terrifying war elephants from India, a creature the Romans had never even conceived of. The battle is a massacre. The Roman legions, built for close quarters fighting, are shredded before they can even draw their swords. Their cavalry is obliterated. Then the elephants charge their collapsing flanks, and the disciplined Roman lines shatter into a panicked mob. The legions that conquered Italy are annihilated. Alexander marches on Rome. The city surrenders without a fight. The Roman Republic is dismantled, its lands turned into a new province governed from Carthage. The 7 hills of Rome would never rule an empire. By 303 BC, Alexander is 53 years old. He commands an empire that stretches from Spain to India, dwarfing anything the world had ever seen. He has spent 20 years not just conquering, but building. The world has been fundamentally, permanently rewritten. Administratively, the empire is a wonder. Alexander perfected the Persian system of provinces, creating a surprisingly effective government. A single currency with his face on it is used from Spain to Bactria. A network of royal roads protected by imperial troops makes travel and trade safer and faster than ever before. The wealth of 3 continents pours into his treasury. The empire is an economic powerhouse, a single unified market of hundreds of millions. But the biggest change is cultural. Alexander's dream of fusing East and West, Hellenism, is now a reality on a global scale. In our timeline, Hellenism was a powerful but scattered influence. In this world, with the backing of a unified empire, it's transformative. The Greek language becomes the language of government, trade, and learning everywhere. You can see the plays of Sophocles in theaters built in the Indus Valley. You can find Greek philosophers debating with Persian magi and Indian holy men. The Library of Alexandria in Egypt, with unlimited state funding, becomes the single greatest collection of human knowledge in history. It actively gathers and translates texts from every corner of the empire: Egyptian medical scrolls, Babylonian star charts, and even Roman legal codes. This centralization of knowledge sparks an explosion of innovation. Thinkers like Euclid and Archimedes have access to a treasure trove of information that would have been unimaginable in our timeline, potentially accelerating scientific discovery by centuries. Most importantly, Alexander has solved the succession crisis that doomed him in our history. His son, Alexander IV, is now a man of 20. He wasn't raised as a mere Macedonian prince, but as the heir to a world empire. He studied under Aristotle's successors, trained in war with his father's best generals, and governed provinces in both the East and West. He is fluent in Greek, Persian, and Aramaic, and is married to an Indian princess, continuing his father's policy of fusion. When Alexander the Great finally dies of old age in his Babylonian palace, he doesn't leave his empire to the strongest. He leaves his unified, stable, and thriving empire to his son. The Alexandrian dynasty is safe. So what is the legacy of this new world? Alexander's extra 2 decades didn't just add more land to his map. They snuffed out the rise of Rome. They merged Eurasia into a single economic and cultural superstate, and they put science and philosophy on the fast track. The fragmented world of warring generals and the centuries-long dominance of the Roman Empire simply never happened. Instead, a Hellenistic world state ruling from Babylon and Carthage would guide human history. The common language of the West wouldn't be Latin, but Greek. Our legal and political traditions wouldn't be Roman, but a Greco-Persian blend. The great religions that would emerge in the next millennium, like Christianity and Islam, would be born into a world utterly alien to us. A world defined not by the memory of Rome, but by the living, breathing legacy of Alexander. This connected, prosperous new world might have been a cradle for incredible progress, but it also places a terrifying amount of power into the hands of a single family. Would this have been a world of enlightened progress? Or would one man's ambition simply prove to be too much for history to handle? What do you think? Could Alexander's empire have lasted, or was it always destined to fall apart? Let us know your theories in the comments. If you enjoyed this trip to an alternate past, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell for more of history's greatest what-ifs. And if you have an idea you'd like us to tackle, let us know. Thanks for watching.